What is up, original gangsters? Officer Gregg coming to you live from the wilderness of Central Idaho. Hey, I wanted to show you guys a little in progress of the Danger Studio. I've been up here working on it. I haven't been putting out a lot of videos lately because I've been back and forth between Cal Unicornia and the free state of Idaho a lot, moving a lot of things and rebuilding this Danger Studio / gun room so that we'll have a place to broadcast videos just like this. It is my intention eventually to have a sit down once a week with you and just a quick little 5-minute catch up, let you know how things are going, things that are going on in the industry or things that are going on here on the channel. Just a little sit down debrief. And then also, of course, we'll have more firearms, knife reviews, things like that coming up too. In case you have missed it already over on Tal Fledermaus or here on this channel, I have, against the advice of others, I've launched a B channel called OG's Danger Mountain. I'll put the logo up here. Look at that. It's a pretty hot logo. OG's Danger Mountain is going to feature everything pretty much but firearms. And I know that's kind of a yawn for a bunch of you guys. But let me tell you, YouTube has recently not demonetized, they've completely deplatformed. They've completely erased the channels of a couple of prominent gun YouTubers. And just in case that was ever coming down the pike, I don't speak about a lot of political things. I also don't teach you ambush tactics and how to attack the government or anything silly like that. But in case YouTube ever decides that they don't like gun channels altogether and they get rid of all of us, I wanted to have another way to reaching out and speaking with you guys. So I have started up OG's Danger Mountain. Because I'm living up here in the woods of Central Idaho, I now do a lot of activities in the side-by-side. I have a canoe, a kayak. I'm planning on doing a lot more like knife reviews, outdoor gear reviews. I actually have a conversation going right now with a company that does a lot of testing, manufacturing, and importing of equipment for the DoD, Department of Defense. They wanted me, because I live up here in the mountains and often cold country. Right now there's about 4 feet of snow up on the roof. They wanted me to possibly go over some of their gear, test it out, and show you guys on camera kind of what's going on. So I thought OG's Danger Mountain was a perfect name, and this is the perfect place for it. Let's take a look around. You can tell I've got a gun wall behind me, but since the camera's focused on me, I wanted to show you real briefly kind of what we did. Mrs. OG and I took this office that was a kind of a yucky sherbet color, and we completely gutted it. We painted the entire office black, first of all, so that was a little creepy for the first couple of days. An entire black room. Ceiling, all the walls. We painted this entire room black, and then we went out and got some wood siding, beat the shit out of it, made it nice and distressed, tacked it up on the wall. Mrs. OG then went through and stained everything to give it a little bit of an aged look. I am sitting at a table here. This used to be a local police department's gun cleaning table at the range. They were getting rid of it one day and wanted to throw it out. I was a range master out there, so I found it sitting there and threw it in my truck. I reinforced the feet of this thing so that it was extra stable and a little higher. Love working up here instead of always bending over and sitting down there. So I reinforced the legs of this table with some 2x4s, bolted it all together nice and tight, and then put casters on it so now I can roll this table out of the way and film things or roll it underneath lights to film what I need to film in here. A good friend of mine also helped me build a nice little corner system. Is built out of a lot of 2x4s, but then a lot of scrap barnwood, that heavy duty barnwood. And again, about 40 inches high. I wanted to be able to scoot up next to it and work on editing videos here on my nice little workstation. Right now I just have a laptop with me because I am on the road. If you look over here in the corner, I've got the beginnings of a shelf system. I'm going to end up putting a bunch of shelves in here, and this is going to be essentially cubby holes for adults. It's going to have a bunch of charging little boxes to keep GoPros, cameras, camera batteries, drone batteries. Everything that needs to charge is going to come in those cubbies on that wall, so that I've got one place to go that keeps everything charged. Mrs. OG also ordered me a little heater. You can see down here a little phone operated heater, so I can be in California and look at the temperature of the Danger Studio and turn on and off the heater. It's pretty awesome to be able to do that. Technology. And then also from California, I can also run the security of this little room. This is next to maybe a military installation. This is a very secure room. It's got cameras everywhere. I'm not going to show you. And it's got alarms and everything's set up in here because essentially I'm sitting inside of what is a big safe. Over here on the left, you're going to see what used to be an old CHP briefing room table. Again, another thing that was being thrown out. I picked this thing up for nostalgia reasons, brought it home, and now I'm using it up here. That's going to be my art table. I don't know how many of you know this, but I do illustrations on the side. Before law enforcement, I was an art teacher and I was trained in graphic design and illustration back in college, back about wagon train days. So this is going to be my table down here, set up with lights and everything to where I can do my illustrations, paintings and stuff down there. Right now it's just full of a bunch of junk because I haven't yet sorted everything in this room, but we'll get there. Just outside this door, you're going to see here that I have a carport. This is where Jenny, the side-by-side, is probably going to live. Right now, Jenny's in the barn. She's on a trickle charger, keeps her juiced up. But Jenny's probably going to park right outside the door here, down here in the carport, and be ready to go at a moment's notice. So here on the wall, you're going to see pretty much about 90% of my gun collection. I do have a few guns here in a travel case. These are going to travel back and forth with me in the next week or two. Everything else is here on the wall, and I have them broken up into categories. You'll see in the dead center of the wall next to the YouTube play button, there's a 10mm section, kind of my favorite collection of guns, especially up here in the mountain country. Then you're going to see over to the left, there's a small collection. I think I only have 3 or 4 40 caliber pistols now. It used to be that 40 caliber was all I owned, and now I just own a few. So those are gathered here. Over to the right, you're going to see a section that's going to be my meager 45 caliber collection. Heading out the door to the fire ring, you're going to see the 9mm section. Scattered all over the walls, you're going to see a lot of the rifles that I own. These are some of the new ones that I picked up and some of the old ones that I've had for years and years and years. And I've kind of just mixed them in, AR-15s with AK-47s and old stuff, lever action rifles here. You'll also notice here on the wall, I've got 2 .380 pistols. One of these was recently featured in a Taufledermaus video that evidently never saw the light of day. But the Bersa 380 that you see here was the very first pistol that I ever owned. I bought it right after the Rodney King riots. I was a college student, and way back then in Los Angeles, everything was going to shit. I sold it way back then. I sold it 20, 25 years ago to a good buddy of mine. Recently, I helped him acquire a SIG 365 that he'd had his eye on. And so in exchange, he was generous enough to give me back my original Bersa 380. So now I have it here in a place of honor on the wall, right next to a Colt 1903. I haven't shot this gun, and I don't know a lot about its history, but I do know that my grandfather, who served as a second lieutenant in World War II, he was an aide-de-camp to a general in Hawaii. My grandfather bought this in Hawaii and carried it on him. And then it was handed down to my uncle, who carried this thing as an undercover police officer in a Bay Area police department. And so it was an undercover kind of a boot gun. And it came to me, it was handed down to me with some magazines full of some ammo that probably came from the early 70s, probably about as old as the OG. So these 2 380s hang here on the wall in a place of honor where I can gaze upon them every day. They won't be shot a lot. Come to think of it, I don't have any shotguns on this wall. That's kind of weird. All my shotguns actually are stayed in California because I do use them, all 3 of them, from time to time. I now have 4 of them actually. One lives in the truck. I use the other 3 shotguns from time to time on Taufledermaus videos, so I did leave those down there because I am back and forth all the time. And yes, I will be helping out Jeff shoot Taufledermaus videos probably through the summer. We are going to be selling our California house here hopefully by June 1st. I will be a permanent resident of Idaho. I will have no other place to go unless you guys are going to open a door and let me come in and make a sandwich. I like strawberry jelly and creamy peanut butter, by the way. And Mrs. OG is finishing up her career down there, and we will be both retired up here by the end of the summer. And so this will be the home of where I film things on the table, edit them here at the command center, Starfleet Command here in the corner of the room, and then I have woods. I have woods about 50 yards outside behind my house that I can go film things. I can't do a lot of shooting around here because I do have neighbors, but I do have 2 shooting locations just on either side of town that are 5 minutes away by side or by my truck. All right, I appreciate you guys stopping by, taking this quick little tour of OG's Danger Studio with me. I hope everyone is doing well out there. I hope your lives are good, and I hope you guys are staying armed and taking care of your people. Things are getting kind of crazy out there. They're expected to get even crazier, if that's even possible. And we do have an election coming up, and God knows everybody's hair will be on fire about that. So make sure you stay armed wherever and whenever you can. And until next video, OG out.